Cold temperatures didn't stop students from festing this weekend. Good afternoon, I'm Lauren Lippert. Mourners gathered in Toledo to honor a Perrysburg native killed on the campus of the University of Kentucky. 22-year-old Jonathan Kruger was shot during a robbery on the campus in Lexington. Kruger was attending UK. 2 men linked to Kruger's death have been arrested. They are facing murder and robbery charges. One Ohio officer is being praised after video reveals his quick thinking during a tense confrontation. This video is from Officer Jesse Kidder's body camera. You see here a homicide suspect gets out of his car and charges Kidder. The suspect's hand is in his pocket, so Kidder did not know if he had a gun. The suspect insisted that Kidder shoot him before he charged. Backup arrived just as Kidder fell to the ground. Then the suspect surrendered.
Study is for all rural areas of the state. College campuses are one of the areas most affected by suicide among younger people. In the town of Athens, the 317 board serves as a local resource for those who need help. The deputy director of the board, Bill Dunlap, says his suicide prevention group works with OU to create stronger support.
There's a chapter at OU that works with suicide prevention, and we provide linkages with that group. We'll share information, they'll share information with us. We'll do trainings, we'll invite them to be part of our trainings, we'll encourage people to go to their trainings.
Now, Ohio University does have resources for students who are struggling. You can come here to the Hudson Health Center, where on the 3rd floor they have counselors and psychological services.
Even students at the university are involved with awareness and prevention. Junior Erin Casey joined Post-it, an organization that draws attention to the issue through Post-it notes. She says the cause hits close to her heart.
In our dorm freshman year, one of the residents committed suicide, and he was really close with a lot of the girls that I was friends with, and it kind of impacted just the general community of our dorm, and eventually widespread OU, and so I just decided to be a part of it because it's a good cause.
For Newswatch at noon, I'm Lauren Lippert.
At least 8 people are dead and 10 more injured in an early morning church van crash in Florida. A church van from Fort Pierce ran through a stop sign, crossed all lanes of US 27, and landed in a canal in southwest Florida. The crash happened at an intersection in Glades County. The driver and 7 passengers are confirmed dead. The group was returning home from a church in Fort Myers to the Independent Haitian Assembly of God Church in Fort Pierce. 3 teens were arrested over the weekend for shooting BB guns at drivers near Newark, Ohio. Police received more than 70 reports of vehicle damage on Saturday. 1 18-year-old and 2 16-year-old boys were arrested yesterday, and at least one of them confessed. Police expect charges to be filed today. Families gathered at the Oklahoma City National Memorial to remember their loved ones who were killed 20 years ago in a bombing there. One woman is honoring the man she says she will never forget, her father. Alice Dennison's father, Mickey Maroney, was killed when the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building was bombed. Maroney was a Secret Service agent for 24 years. Each year, Maroney's family and friends place flowers on his chair at the memorial. Dennison says it feels like it all happened just yesterday. Repair work begins today on water lines near the Athens Mall in the Athens County Fairgrounds. There is a possibility of a water outage for those shopping at the mall and those near the fairgrounds by West Union Street. The crews are taking steps to keep service disruption to a minimum. Well, Alex, the hotels that are already in Athens haven't provided rooms for all the visitors on busy weekends. And as it turns out, this town has excelled in its tourism industry without major university events going on. The plan for the newest hotel on East State Street is not only to help tourism, but add new jobs and bring in revenue to the city.
Despite a frigid and snowy winter season stalling construction of East State Street's newest hotel, the upcoming Fairfield Inn & Suites is still on pace for its projected May opening, just in time for graduation. The 87-room hotel will become the 6th on East State Street alone and the 11th officially listed by the Athens County Visitors Bureau. But in a town with only 23,000 residents, why would another hotel chain choose Athens to make its home? Executive Director of the Athens County Visitors Bureau, Paige Allos, thinks this is the perfect time to add a new place for visitors to stay.
So no hotel ever gets built without a market study, but our hotel demand and our documented hotel demand definitely opens the door for us to be able to attract a property like the Fairfield Inn.
And that demand has been created by a boom in the Athens tourism business that's taken place over the past decade.
We can tell you that we have been on an increase every year for the last 8 years. We've seen 2 new hotels come on board about 5 years ago in the middle of this, and it didn't slow us down one single bit. And of course, we'll continue to work hard to make sure that on those non-peak weekends that we've got conferences and meetings and reunions and festivals and events and gatherings and great reasons for people to stay here.
A study by Tourism Ohio found that between 2011 and 2013, tourism in Athens generated nearly $140 million in visitor spending. That's up more than 6.5%, $8.5 million, which would be enough to build a second convocation center. In 2014, each quarter broke records for lodging tax receipts. Big Ohio University event weekends account for tourism's most reliable business. In fact, every room in Athens has been booked for OU graduation for at least 6 months. But Outlaw says local hotels thrive almost year-round.
It's interesting. I can tell you more easily when it's not a busy time for us. The latter 2 weeks of December and the month of January are typically our slowest times. The rest of the time, we're beating the national average of a 66% occupancy almost every month here. And in fact, we gained last year on average about 20% per quarter in our overnight stays.
Sometimes those overnight stays come at completely unexpected times, as the general manager of that Baymont Inn, Glenna Smith, recently found out.
Last weekend we weren't supposed to have been busy at all, but of course with the snowstorm that helped a little bit. And then a swim meet that we had no clue. And then there was a equestrian event at Stonegate, which is in Coolville, and that picked up a lot of business as well. Craziness, because you don't know how to schedule when you don't show you're going to have a lot of rooms sold.
So with another big chain hotel on its way, the other places where out-of-towners may choose to stay are preparing for the new competition. Those little surprise weekends could send businesses somewhere else right down the street. However, Smith says she still has a secret formula to staying ahead of the pack.
First of all, we strive to be better with our hospitality. You know, the customer service. I started here 10 years ago, and hospitality, customer service has always been my main focus all my life, and as long as you can show above and beyond customer service, the competition, there's no issues with the competition.
Hospitality is one thing, but several hotels have also gone through recent renovations, including Smith's Baymont Inn. The Knights Inn on East State, as well as the Hampton Inn, which Lindsay Schaefer manages, also went under repairs. But in her case, the incoming Fairfield Inn didn't pressure her into making changes.
I think that is based on hotel to hotel. Ownership, management, brand. For example, our carpet was replaced a year or 2 years ago just because there was a need for it. Our wall vinyl is probably something that we'll replace this year, just based on the age of the product and how it directly affects the guest is how we go about basing when we do renovations. So the need for a renovation based on a new hotel kind of depends on whatever hotel you're asking.
With the renovations in place, the Hampton Inn and its East State Street neighbors are prepared to welcome the newest addition to the block. The incoming Fairfield Inn will bring the number of hotel rooms in the city of Athens to 750. It will produce an additional $250,000 to $300,000 in sales tax revenue for the county and create jobs for locals. The question is how drastic the effect of putting another Big Fish hotel in a small market pond will be on everyone during those less hectic times of the year. Even someone with the confidence of Paige Allost with the Visitors Bureau can be unsure at best how the town's visitors respond.
What remains to be seen is if we'll see an overall increase across an annual basis, including the peak weekends and the non-peak weekends, or if we're going to see kind of just a skimming, a sort of smoothing out of that business across one more additional property now. But the accommodation numbers staying relatively the same. And we can't predict that.
Even with that uncertainty ahead, Allost says the city's charm should be more than enough to keep businesses afloat.
Trust me when I tell you we're the envy of our tourism peers because that love of place sticks with people. And so if you spend a little time in Athens and leave here, there's something about it that stays with you. You know, I'll give you a great example. A lot of people who are Buckeye fans will say, I love OSU, but you don't necessarily hear them say, I love Columbus. When you meet a Bobcat fan, they will tell you, I love OU and I love Athens. And that means the world to us.
Now, Allost also pointed out that Fairfield Inn is one of those hotels that has rewards points programs. So do the Hampton Inn and Holiday Inn Express. A lot of people who use these reward programs are very loyal to their hotel brands. The smaller, independent hotels in the area could have a really hard time keeping up now that yet another rewards-based hotel is in town. Reporting for Newswatch at noon in depth, I'm Lauren Lippert. Governor Kasich says he's more and more serious about jumping into the 2016 presidential race. The governor just visited New Hampshire and South Carolina, two key Republican primary states, and says he has a heavy schedule ahead. Kasich also stopped by NBC's Meet the Press. He credited his experience and said all his options are on the table. Palmer Fest changed the campus dining hall menus on those afternoon snacks. Some students drank more than the typical fountain drink on Saturday. This photo, taken by the Post, shows a sign at the entrance of Nelson warning students not to bring alcohol. Students were also forced to go through a bag check throughout the day. Even though students were told not to bring alcohol, beer cans were still found in the dining hall, and employees said they had to deal with a lot of drunk students. It is unclear what action the dining halls will take with 13 Fest coming up. An HIV-positive man accused of sexually assaulting 3 children in Columbus will be in court today. Keith Anthony Allen was indicted last week on 19 counts, including rape and child sexual assault. Prosecutors say he raped 2 12-year-old girls and is accused of sexual activity with a 14-year-old girl. Allen could face life in prison if convicted.
Sexual assaults are never an easy topic to talk about. Assaults that happen in the LGBT community are often not talked about at all. Take Back the Night Week aims to fix the problem that many don't talk about. Madison Koenig is the Student Senate Women's Affairs Commissioner.
Take Back the Night is a week of events that sort of look at different aspects of sexual violence and gender-based violence. So we have created a bunch of different events that will happen during the week that hopefully touch on different communities' needs.
Ohio University has participated in Take Back the Night Week for over 30 years, and even though time brings change, the goal to educate people on sexual violence has stayed the same.
So the LGBT Center is one of the sponsors for Take Back the Night Week, including Take Back the Night panel, and they're located here on the 3rd floor of Baker.
F-Rape Culture is a social movement that challenges the rape culture on campus. The co-founder of the organization, Claire Cambridge, helped organize the panel for the discussion of violence. She says she hopes the panel will shed light on the pressing issues that most don't normally talk about.
With the panel tonight, I'm really hoping to just spread awareness. Intimate partner violence within the LGBT community is something that is oftentimes swept under the rug or not taken seriously for a variety.
Thousands of employers in the state who were overcharged for workers' compensation insurance premiums will have to wait at least a few weeks more to get their money back. A $420 million court settlement was reached last July and payouts were expected this month. But one of the plaintiff's lawyers says now the money won't go out until the first half of May. 3 teens were shot when a fight broke out after a private YMCA birthday party in Cincinnati this weekend. Police say more than 50 shots were fired at the Saturday night party. 2 teens were hospitalized but released the next day. The 3rd teen remains hospitalized in critical condition. Police say there were hundreds of teens at the party and no arrests have been made. The Kenyan government has publicly named Mohammed as its top suspect behind Thursday's terrorist attack at the university in Garissa that killed nearly 150 people. Kenya's Interior Ministry posted a most wanted notice for Mohammed. It offers a reward of 20 million Kenyan shillings, which is about 215,000 American dollars. Mohammed is the senior leader of the terrorist group Al-Shabaab, which has already claimed responsibility for the university attack. Amanda Knox is finally free of her murder conviction after Italy's highest court overturned the verdict on Friday. The ruling ends the 7.5-year legal battle for Knox and her ex-boyfriend. They were first found guilty of the murder and sexual assault of Knox's roommate in 2009. The panel deliberated for almost 10 hours before coming to a decision. The surprising decision was made due to a lack of sufficient evidence to convict the pair. I'm sure that we'll see a lot of people out and about today too, watching all the games. I know that I'll be out watching the Reds and the Pirates, but I don't think we're rooting for the same team today. A little bit of rivalry here, but that's okay.